Mel Buer is an adjunct English professor. She is writing a book on radical media for OR Books. She is the host of Morning Riot. Mel, welcome to the Valley Labor Report.
Thanks for having me.
Let's try that again. Sorry about that. Mel, you were muted on my end, but you should be good to go now.
Thanks for having me.
Oh, yeah. Great. Glad to have you. So, I met you when you helped Max with that Kellogg's fundraising stream a couple months ago. How much did y'all end up raising again? Wasn't it like 15?
I think it was, close to $18,000, I think. Something like that.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's really great. How did you get mixed up with a character like Max? I mean, that's like, yeesh.
Twitter, actually. I was podcasting. I started podcasting in like 2019 with Pearson Bolt of Coffee with Comrades. And I ended up getting a Twitter because I wanted to be sort of available to listeners if they had questions or concerns or they were angry with what I said on my podcast. And over the course of that year, I just met a lot of interesting, ostensibly leftist podcasters. And so Max and I ended up in a group DM for some election podcasts that we did in early 2020. And that's kind of how we got mixed up together. Great guy. Love working with him.
Absolutely. Really, really great guy. Couldn't ask for a better fellow to, cover worker struggles. His Working People podcast, really great. He's doing really great work as the editor-in-chief over at The Real News. And you've been writing some articles for them, right?
I have, yeah. Most recent one was a unfortunately unsuccessful union drive that happened at Sabre Industries in Sioux City. It's a manufacturing company. It's a plant out in Sioux City that makes steel structures for the telecommunications industry. And one of their workers sent me a DM like last October after the Kellogg strike kicked off, saying that they had walked off the job. And they reached out to the IBEW and were trying to bring a union into the plant. This is like the third time that they've tried to do it. And this is the closest they got. They actually got a union election through the NLRB. And unfortunately, the union avoidance, air quotes there, the union busting company that the Sabre Industries brought in was successful in trying to turn people away from a union vote. But they got close. Hopefully next time they actually win it, So.
Yeah, hope so. So what about your podcast? What kind of stuff? There are so many podcasts that I have. Yours has like been on my list, but I haven't actually been able to like check it out. What kind of stuff do you talk about on Morning Riot?
All sorts of things. Really, Morning Riot is meant to be kind of a free-flowing conversation with activists, labor historians. Our next season, we're planning on doing more of a sort of history type of season about the Haymarket Affair. But usually it's just conversations with folks. And recent episodes, we've talked about the labor movement. We've talked about leftist or radical media. We've talked about all sorts of interesting things. The podcast has only got a couple of episodes in its first season. I am in the midst of writing a book, so it's kind of a little bit lower on my priority list. And, I'm deep in this book writing, so we probably won't see a second season for another couple of months.
Gotcha. What about the book? Can you talk to us a little bit about that?
Yeah, the book is tentatively titled F Your Newsroom. I don't know if I can swear on this podcast, so I will.
You can now.
Oh, yeah, we're off the radio
only now.
Yeah, we're in overtime, so we're off the radio, and the FCC censors can't do anything to us. So.
Just the YouTube censors.
The book is called Fuck Your Newsroom, and it's a book about radical media and particularly radical, independent, anti-capitalist media. I don't know if you have these conversations with leftists or radical folks who are in media. Everyone's constantly talking about how we need robust, independent media to counter the sort of mainstream media narrative that happens in this country. My argument is that we kind of have it. You know, there are a lot of folks who are putting in a lot of work to kind of build that sort of alternative. And many of them are anarchists, they're anti-capitalists, they're socialists, you know, and we all have sort of tapped into this long-standing legacy of, I don't even want to call it countercultural, because I don't think it is. Just radical media in this country. It's been a part of organizing and politics in this country for as long as this country has had any sort of media wing. You know, the political origins of this media infrastructure date back well before we even were a country. So, and you know, the book is meant to be sort of a study, or you know, it's not going to be all encompassing, because that would take too long. You know, take years and years of really kind of reaching out to everyone, but. What I really want to do is draw attention to the fact that there are folks who are working together and separate from each other to kind of build up that alternative media ecosystem, you know. And I really want to draw attention to the fact that, like, the potential to continue to build more independent anti-capitalist media is there. All we have to do is talk to each other. So
I think that is fantastic. And I hope just having you on the show today is one little step in that direction, because as Jacob mentioned, there are so many podcasts out now that are like right up our alley, or that have something important to say. You know, in addition to, of course, Real News Network, More Perfect Union, Labor Notes, and In These Times, magazines and websites and video series. There is a pretty robust media system out there for folks of our persuasion. And I think that's fantastic. The more we can all collaborate, and if we're all pulling in the same direction, we can just do so much more. And so thankful that you are doing that work, and you're here to share it with us.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to your book, and hopefully we'll be able to get you on to talk more about it once it's out.
That'd be awesome.
You just saw a clip from the Valley Labor Report. We are live every Saturday morning from 9:30 a.m. till 12:30 p.m. And we pride ourselves on keeping all of our content free to everybody so that we can talk to as many working folks as possible. If you support the work that we're doing, you think that it's important, you think that it's good, then consider making a monthly contribution to the project, and you can do that on our website, tvlr.fm.